Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to the Wadham 1610 Society dinner. One of the highlights of the college calendar and our year here in Wadham. I'm Julie Hay. I'm fortunate to be the development director here at Wadham. And any other year, we would have been very busy preparing your dinner, your wines, your academic talks, your room, and your table plan to welcome you back in college. This evening looks very different, of course, and we've been thinking about how we can thank our 1610 Society members for your extraordinary generosity when we can't welcome you back to this very room. Your commitment to Wadham's future is very, very vital to us. So how can we give you a sense of the gratitude you deserve? While we can't welcome you in this very room, the next best thing could be to fill the hall with music. Perhaps 16th and 17th century music evocative of the college's founding period. I'm very grateful to our Director of Music, Katie Pardee, and to Stile Antico, who are here with us tonight, for their help in hatching this new plan. As you'll see on the screen when we get the camera up on the balcony here in Hall in a moment, we've been busy preparing the hall for a socially distanced event. The development office and colleagues across the whole Wadham College have been busy measuring up the safe distances and so on. We're also very grateful to head gardener Andrew Little for bringing in some beautiful autumnal flowers from the Wadham Gardens. In a moment, we will all look forward to raising a toast to the college and to all of you. So I hope you may have a glass at hand too. But before we get ahead of ourselves, I'd very much like to welcome the Warden of Wadham College, Ken MacDonald, to begin this evening's proceedings.
Well, thank you, Julie, and thank you in particular to you, Julie, and to the Development Office for working so hard to make this occasion happen, and also Katie Pardee, our wonderful Director of Chapel Music, who's responsible for the Wadham College Choir, which sings so beautifully during term time every Sunday evening at Evensong. And it's a wonderful occasion to attend and open to anyone who wants to attend during term. This is a very exciting evening for us as well, because this is the first event that has taken place in this beautiful old hall that you'll remember so well for almost 6 months. But it's a very happy event, as Julie says, and we are expecting to use the hall again more regularly in a safe way during this term, which is now only 3 or 4 weeks off. Some of you will have read that Wadham took the decision this year to admit all of its offer holders because we were not satisfied that the algorithm that was being used by the examination boards, by Ofqual, was capable of dislodging the strong views that we had formed at interview stage and at examination assessment stage of the young people who applied to us. And in particular, we weren't prepared to see an algorithm that appeared to operate unfairly against young people from poorly performing schools to determine who we should admit and who we shouldn't admit. So we've admitted them all. And I'm sure they're going to be a strong cohort, and I'm sure they're going to be a successful cohort. We remain committed during this global emergency more than ever to broadening access to this wonderful place and to ensuring that all young people who have the commitment and the academic ability to thrive here are given the opportunity of a place. It's your support that enables us to conduct these programs of outreach, that enables us to fulfill this mission and to remain loyal to it. And we are particularly grateful to those of you joining us this evening who are members of the 1610 Society, to those who have made bequests to this college and have supported us in that concrete way. We're profoundly grateful to you. Your donations, your benefactions, your help bring us more than you can imagine and bring more to our students and to future generations of students than you can imagine. So thank you for standing by us. We'll continue to remain true to those values that you also, I'm sure, share. We are gazed down upon as usual in the hall this evening by Nicholas Wadham here over the mantelpiece and by Dorothy, our foundress. You'll remember those portraits well. Christopher Wren to my right, John Weelkes, those wonderful 17th century polymaths who will have known much of this music that we're going to hear this evening and will have loved it as we do. And some more modern portraits that you can see if you visit us, Rosamund Pike, Monica Alley, women in Hall, more women than just Dorothy, women from the 20th century and the 21st century, and we're delighted to see them here as our students. We hope it won't be too long before you are able to visit with us again. Please do come when it's safe to do so. We miss seeing our alumni and friends around college, and we look forward more than I can say to that time when you are able to come again. Gardens would be beautiful, I'm sure, in spring, and I'm sure by spring it'll be safe. So please do visit us. Continue to support us. Continue to visit our website. Keep in touch, and you retain, as always, our affection. Now I think it's time for me to hand over to Katie Pardee, who's going to introduce the singers. Katie.
Yes, thank you, Ken. It is my great pleasure to welcome Stile Antico, members of Stile Antico, to Wadham College. When Julie Haig first approached me about ideas for this event, I thought immediately of choral music, and specifically choral music of the period of Wadham's founding, so the 17th century and earlier, that Nicholas and Dorothy possibly would have been familiar with. I thought immediately of this particular group because my colleague, who usually sings with this ensemble, is a director of music at Somerville College. So I can tell you from personal experience, I've heard them a number of times in concert, that Stile Antico is a jewel in the crown of English choral ensembles. So please, without further ado, welcome members of Stile Antico.
that lovely, sweet rendition of the Lord's Prayer that we just sang was written by John Sheppard, who was the choir master at Magdalen College in his day. So there's an Oxford connection for you. The next piece we're going to sing by John Taverner, Christe Jesu Pastor Bone. Taverner was also choir master at Oxford College, Christ Church, but as it was then, of course, Cardinal College. If you listen very carefully, and your Latin is up to scratch, I'm sure it is, you will hear a little inserted line of text in honour of Queen Elizabeth, which is obviously retrospectively added. And then after that, we're going to sing a dramatic piece by Richard Deering, who is also an Oxford boy. He graduated from Christ Church in 1610 as your college was being founded.
Angelo
Well, that was absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. What a delight, really, to hear that music in this hall, which, as you'll all know, was built with the rest of the front quad and the chapel, between 1610 and 1613. So that's for music which would have been very familiar, or most of it anyway, to people who were first inhabitants of our college, to the first students, the first fellows, and indeed to Nicholas and Dorothy. So it's really very poignant to hear such beautiful music from that age in this wonderful, wonderful hall. It's now my great pleasure to introduce Colin Drummond, whom you will all know as the president of the 1610 Society, and his wife Georgina, who's also with us this evening, I'm delighted to say. Colin isn't just the president of the 1610 Society, really he embodies it, and he's been a wonderful president. He's been president throughout my time here as warden, and he's galvanized the society and devoted so much time to it and so much thought, and the college is enormously grateful to him for his leadership of the 1610, and we're really pleased that you're able to be here tonight, Colin, and that you and Georgina are here together, as you always are. So welcome, and please.
Thank you most kindly for that, Ken. It is great to be here, and it's great to be able to send my greetings to all our friends in the 1610 Society worldwide, and indeed to guests of the Society who are joining us. I hope you're all coping well in these strange COVID-related times. For our guests, let me just say a couple of words about what the 1610 Society is about. Well, the college has set the Society up to thank people who are leaving money to the college in their wills and to thank significant lifetime donors. And the college organizes a most wonderful annual dinner for us, at which we have great fellowship and also commemorate those who have passed away during the past year. Charitable donations are very, very important to the college. I think when we were students, we assumed the college had lots of money, but actually the college's operating model is quite fragile. If you were talking to city investors, I doubt they'd invest in us. But thanks to the government funding arrangements, the money we get as a college isn't enough to pay for the research we do. It isn't fully funded. It certainly isn't enough to pay for tutorial fellowships. And it isn't enough to pay for the outreach, the access to excellence program, etc., which means so much to everyone in college. And things are particularly fragile now for everyone worldwide, and indeed for the academic sector. So the support from my friends and myself in the 1610 Society, and any who else feel like joining us, is infinitely valuable. We're keeping a fragile institution and its values moving forward. Having said that, the Society is in good heart. There are 406 members now, compared to about 280 some 10 years ago, so the numbers are going up. Sadly, in the nature of things, excuse me, we lose members each year, but we gain more than we lose. But I would like to commemorate the 12 people that we've lost during the past year. 11 of them, the names of 11, have been portrayed during the music. And then, in addition, very sadly, one of our good old friends, Jerry Montague, tutorial fellow in music, passed away this morning. I think it was a particularly fitting that we had the choice of music we had, especially in the first half of this evening's entertainment. Consulting my Groves Dictionary of Music this morning so I wouldn't be caught out, I discovered that John Taverner was a member of the Guild of Corpus Christi before he came to Oxford. And one of the things evidently that guild would do is sing masses for the dead in chantry chapels throughout the country. And I think it was particularly appropriate that we had John Taverner as we commemorate our 12 friends who passed away through the year. But this is a happy time for us all as well. And may I now propose our usual toast to Wadham College. Root and branch, may it flourish forever. To Wadham College.
That beautiful little miniature was published anonymously in 1538 in Venice, and the academic Laurie Strass has argued convincingly that the composer was a female, a nun, an Italian nun, Leonora D'Este, and we thought it was particularly appropriate to sing music by a woman, given that your college was founded by a woman. Sadly, pieces by Renaissance women are pretty few and far between. So for the next two pieces, we're going to do the next best thing and sing a couple of madrigals written in honour of that great patron of music, Queen Elizabeth I. These come from a collection, The Triumphs of Oriana, which was written towards the end of her reign, and each of the madrigals finishes with the same set of words praising her. Oriana represents Queen Elizabeth I, and they all end, "Then sang the shepherds and nymphs of Diana, long live fair Oriana."
Stile Well, the next piece we're going to sing for you is also written in honour of a woman, but this time it's the Virgin Mary. This is music by William Byrd, written early in the 17th century. In fact, this collection, Gradualia, received its second printing in 1610. But this is music that really reflects something of the history of the time, because, of course, by this date, singing in Latin would have been forbidden in church. And so this little Ave Maria was written not for the Protestant celebrations in church, but rather for the secret Catholic masses that were still going on in great houses behind closed doors. And then after that, we'll finish with a piece by another one of these remarkable Italian nun composers. This piece is by Rafaella Aleotti, and it's called Angelus ad Pastores Ait. It tells the story of the angels telling the good news to the shepherds at Christmas, and it's full of seasonal feeling and airiness and lightness.
Gratia,
Well, thank you. Thank you again. That was wonderful. And I must say I'm delighted that you chose the William Byrd, the Ave Maria. And I can only imagine how delighted Nicholas and Dorothy, as recusants, secret practitioners of the Catholic faith, would have been to imagine that more than 4 centuries after their deaths, that would have been performed in the great hall of their college. That's, I think, a very moving and wonderful choice, and thank you for singing it so beautifully. I'm sorry to say that we've had reports from some of you that the sound quality was not great at the early part of this stream, particularly when I was speaking, which may have been deliberate and may have been to your fortune. But some of you have asked me to just say again 1 or 2 of the things that I said, and all I really want to repeat is that we are immensely grateful to those of you who are members of the 1610 Society for the wonderful support that you show the college, and to all of you for remaining friends with Wadham, those of you who are members of the Society and those of you who aren't, but particularly those of you who support us. As Colin said, we can't survive without your support. The college took a decision a few weeks ago to admit all of its offer holders, including those who had been failed by an algorithm, which seemed to operate to the disfavor of those young people from poorly performing schools. And I have to say that we here at Wadham were aghast that such a process could be contemplated, that young people who had overcome so much already were to be further disadvantaged by an algorithm. And we took the decision to admit them all. And I'm sure they are going to be a strong and a successful cohort. We determined at interview that they were brilliant young people. We determined from their schoolwork that they were brilliant young people and from their aptitude tests. And we decided, therefore, that we would this year admit all of our offer holders. That's going to put additional strain on the college, but we believed, and I'm sure we were right to believe, that it was the correct and the Wadham thing to do. And of course, a few days later, the government changed course, and I think that offer holders all over the country have been admitted. But that's really an example of the Wadham ethos in practice. Thank you for supporting it. Thank you for supporting us. I hope that the sound issues haven't impaired your enjoyment of the evening, but if they have, we have a recording which we're told will be pitch perfect and which we will send to each of you and which will be on our website. So please enjoy that at your leisure once it's up there and once you've received it. Thank you again to these wonderful singers, this wonderful choir. Thank you for organising the music. Julie, thank you again to you and your team who have worked so hard. But most of all, thank you, our dear alumni, for your continued friendship and support. And we hope to see you again very soon. Thank you.